I am DYANAROZAY, and I bring a unique commentary to your favorite reality TV shows and whatever is popping on social media. If you are not a subscriber, please become one. Hit that notification bell too, that way you don't miss any of my videos. I go by DYANAROZAY on all platforms, and I appreciate every single one of y'all for rocking with me. What's up, Supreme Team? Welcome to the channel. Come on in, everybody. We are here to talk about LAMH. This is episode 6, child, and it was a hot ass mess, but we are going to talk about it. So everybody come in, hit the like button, please, and thank you. Share the video. Y'all already know, okay? Come on in. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear the sound of my voice. Drop your city, your state, your country, your island, wherever you are from, into the chat so we can talk, child. Don't forget, hit the like button, share the video, all the things, all the things. Whoa. I am laughing because I cannot believe all the shit that I saw, but it was interesting, and it's actually playing out. It's playing out a lot like I have been sharing with y'all over the last couple of years I've been doing this show. So if you have been rocking with me for a minute, you already know some of the stuff I've been saying. I'm going to point it out though, child. What's up, Brenda from Chicago? Nice to have you. What's up, Nolly? Trinidad, nice to have you. Come on in. Lies More Lies. What's up, Patricia from Cleveland? Welcome. Jazzy said, I can hear you. Welcome, Louisiana. Welcome, Cleveland. Listen, this is my sister, you guys, my sister clone. She has a wrench, child. Anything, if she says anything to you, you go ahead and just follow the rules. Listen, I don't mind if we have different opinions because that's normal. That's to be expected. That's to be expected. But I want to make sure that we keep it respectful, okay? Tennessee is in the house. Douglasville, Georgia is in the house. What's up? What's up, Kelly? What's up, Arizona? I love seeing where you guys are from, child. What's up? She said, I'm on my couch waiting for you. I love to see where you guys are from. It's humbling to see that so many people come through to visit, okay? I got 98 of you here, so hopefully all 98 of y'all have hit that like button. Also, take the poll at the top of the chat, okay? What's up, Edna from St. Louis? I miss St. Louis. I miss the food. The food I miss. Florida, Philadelphia. What's up? What's up? Georgia again. You can't wait to hear my take. Good, because I got one, baby. Jamaica, what is up? I hope to see Jamaica very soon, child, because I need a break. What's up, California? San Francisco, the Bay Area, okay? Welcome, welcome, welcome. What's up, New Jersey? I love your commentary. Thank you. Thank you, y'all. Listen, I made it a point of avoiding all bloggers since it aired last night because I said I got to keep my brain fresh, okay? Because there's a whole bunch of stuff that I have been sharing with y'all for a while, and people were like, trying to rough up my school clothes. Talk about, Dyana, you don't have this right. But baby, yes, I do. I know what I'm talking about. Come on, come on. Bump it up. We got 12 likes. That's it. Why y'all hate me so much? Hit the like button. Damn. There's 113 of y'all here. Hit the like button. I promise you, anybody who does YouTube, that they require that. It's like real easy. You barely have to touch the phone, child. Hit the like button. What's up, Indianapolis? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in, everybody. Come on in. We're going to talk about it. See, what people don't understand all the time is that a narcissist is a friend of no one, okay? I told y'all this just last review. In my review for episode 5, I said to y'all, Martell grooms people to protect him. And it does not matter if you are his wife, his situationship, his friendship, or his mama. You are groomed. And even if you think you are super smart and that it can never happen to you, it can happen to you. It doesn't take a lot. People think that they always on top. We're watching the show, so we are watching what the production team wants us to see. But when you're in that shit, you're in it. And it doesn't hit you 1-2 punch every single time. You have good moments, then you might have some bad moments, and you have more good moments and some bad moments. But it's a give and take. There's a whole lot of shit that happens. You know what I'm saying? Come on in, come on in, come on in. Hit the like button. Thank you for helping out. Hit the like button, child. I don't know why. I don't know why. Hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it. But I'm going to give y'all some conversation, okay? I want y'all to remember a few things before I get into this review. I want y'all to remember a few things. There was a reunion where Martell's ex-wife, Melody, says, Martell has a way of saying things to you to make you believe him. To make you believe him. Because she was in that boat where people were calling her stupid and all that shit. They've been saying it on the internet for years. But she actually says on the show, Martell has a way of doing that to make you believe him. And I remember Martell said, well, hell, I wanted to believe it too. I wanted to believe it too. Keep that one thing in mind, okay? Also keep in mind another thing she said. She said it in the first season. She said, listen, I thought I had the perfect marriage. I thought I had the perfect marriage. And the only thing that was wrong is that Martell couldn't stop messing with that girl. Okay. And then after the first season, she said it in interviews. She said it on Heavenly's channel. Heavenly was even teasing her like, you don't get back together with that man. And she said, there was a time when that could have been true. But now, not anymore. And she said that because Martell had got the girl pregnant, right? Ariane was pregnant, but she said it. You remember that, Monica? Thank you, because I need to lay the foundation, okay? She said it in radio interviews. There was a whole lot of times she said it. I thought I had the perfect marriage until I divorced and I had a chance to spend time with myself. And then I realized how emotionally abusive the relationship was. Emotional abuse. That's how she stated it. And then last year, y'all back to last year, there was an episode where Melody goes and confronts Martell and Tisha about the bullshit that happened at that adult game day. About the adult game day. And she came walking in there to say, listen, Martell sent me a text he wasn't even supposed to send to her legally because he was told not to make contact. And she said, he sent me a text and he ain't even supposed to send me a damn text. And Melody was prepared to go to battle about that text. And then she has this epiphany when she's talking to them. She said, I don't know. Martell said, blah, blah, blah. And she said, you know what? You know what? I'm sitting here defending Martell as much as that man lies. And Marceau said, thank you. He said, thank you. I'm glad you said that because Martell does lie like a mother. Okay. He said at the end of the day, Martell came to me crying about how he didn't have anybody to help him and all that shit. Right. And then he said, I ended up giving him money, helping him get back on his feet, all this other shit. So yeah, you have no idea if you've never been in that type of situation, y'all. Let's see, what's up? If you've never been in that type of situation, you have no idea how that type of shit works because it's a lot. Martell's superpower, his superpower is that he knows how to lie to get what he wants. Period. And we're about to get into it because there's a whole lot of shit that happened in this episode. He ain't the only liar. Let me put it up. Let me put it like that. Martell ain't the only damn liar, but he does know how to lie. And he does know how to lie to a place where he convinces you, where you start questioning yourself. Like, did I see what I see? Do I know what I know? Period. And I'm saying this because Melody, who literally, with everything, she slept with him, had kids with him, the whole nine. Even in last year's episode, she was like, bitch, I was about to give him the benefit of the doubt. And he don't deserve it. So let's start there, okay? Come on in. Welcome to the chat, everybody. I appreciate y'all. 189 of you are here, which I'm very happy to have y'all, grateful for. But only 89 of y'all have hit my like button. I need at least 100 likes because, goddamn, you know what I'm saying? Why be so stingy with a like? Hit the like. Hit the like. What is a big deal? Oh my goodness. I'm giving y'all all this excellent tea so y'all can take back to the water cooler. The water cooler being somebody else's channel, to the Facebook groups. You know what I'm saying? Hit the like. Oh my goodness. Hit it. Thank you. Oh, Jesus. What's up, Teresa? So I gave y'all that excellent background because there was a lot of points that was hit in this episode to keep this story rolling. So even though there's a lot of people who felt like, well, I don't know what people felt like. Let's not go there. Let's just say we are watching diabolical behavior in real time and ain't nothing wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to learn. What's up? What's up? Look, clone, what you laughing at? Number 3 on the poll. Make sure you take the poll at the top of the page. That's number 1. Take the poll at the top of the page. Okay. Anyway, so last episode, I think it ended with Tisha and Nell Fletcher. Tisha had ordered that caramel macchiato. I think she got it. I'm not sure. Either way, I said, listen, if Tisha wants to really show that this shit isn't bothering her the way it's bothering her, she should have said, bitch, I'm gonna order another caramel macchiato on you, okay? Because she walked out the door and let Nell Fletcher pay. She should have said, on you, and we need to get to the bottom of this, because really, my marriage should not affect you the way it appears to be affecting you. But anyway, Tisha walked up out that door. She got a phone call from the production team, somebody over there, because clearly, okay, I'm not going to give Tisha the credit for walking back in there on her own, but I do think she got a call from production who said, get your ass back into that coffee shop, okay, and finish that conversation. We got a show to do. You understand? And Tisha ends up going back over there to Nell Fletcher, pulled up, child, sucked it up, buttercup, okay, sucked it up, sat her ass down, and then the waitress came over and said, is this your caramel macchiato? She said, yes, ma'am. She said, at the end of the day, I'm grown. I need to handle this grown woman conversation, and I want my damn caramel macchiato, okay? So she sits down and she says to Nell, she says, listen, I have a level of respect for you. That's why I'm back. And Nell said, cool, because Nell didn't move, okay? When Tisha walked out the door, this is what lets me know the producer said don't do nothing. Because when Tisha walks out the door, Nell is still sitting there with her little feet just swinging underneath that chair. So somebody said, baby, don't you go nowhere. Tisha on her way back right now, okay? So Tisha ends up coming back. And she said, I got a level of respect for you. And Nell Fletcher said, I got a level of respect for you too. And Tisha said, don't say nothing. Let me get this shit out, okay? Because I'm so pissed that if I don't do this my way, I might walk the fuck up out of here one more time, okay? So she ends up saying to Nell, shush, 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 okay? Let me finish, right? And then Tisha just breaks down in this moment. She said, listen, I have been plagued with these damn rumors about Marceau cheating since the beginning, and I'm tired of it. It has affected my relationship. I am in therapy. I don't know what the fuck y'all want from me, okay? You keep telling me this, but I have no proof whatsoever. I haven't seen anything that suggests that my husband is cheating, and I don't know what y'all want me to do. And when she said that, child, I had to think about this a little bit, because you know, we grow, we live, we learn. I have said to my friend, girl, he cheated. You know what I'm saying? Not really understanding how that person had to deal with whatever the information was that I dropped. I was young. I didn't think about it that way. I just was like, girl, I think he cheating, so on and so forth. But then, you know, you grow a little bit and you realize you're really dropping an atomic bomb on somebody when you tell them tell someone, your friend, that your husband is cheating. It could be your children. It doesn't matter. You're really dropping that information off on them like a terminal illness diagnosis. And everybody's sitting around waiting to see when they're going to die or if there's a cure. You know what I'm saying? And that same shit happens in the relationship. That's why I asked y'all that question up above, because we've all probably done it at one time or another. And I have learned it's not. I've learned, what did I learn, clone? I didn't put them together. It is not my job to take them apart. Okay, come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It'd be a lot, right? So people don't like Tisha and they say whatever. It's kind of like a sadist thing to tell someone because you want to see how they handle it. But she's letting people know, you've said it. I get it. I've heard it 100 fucking times. I don't know how to blow my whole relationship up, my children, my home, all the stuff that I have going on. I don't know how to blow this up for people I don't know. I don't know the names I've never seen before. What do you want me to do? And I was like, she has a point. Now, I've always said that Tisha ain't supposed to break up shit for me. I don't care what I say on this show. Do I think that Marcel has cheated? From what I've seen, yes. From what I've seen, yes, but I don't live there. I don't know. And I would say if she said, I heard what DYANAROZAY said, I broke up, I would say that's stupid. I would say she's stupid. So it is what it is. There's no way to win. There's no way to win in a situation like that. And that's all there is to it. But she tells this to Nell Fletcher, who says, listen, I get it. I get it. Okay. I'm going to give you some grace because, I didn't realize it was that heavy for you. But at the same time, Nell said, listen, thank you for telling me that. I think that was transparent of you. Okay. Since we are talking about transparency, I think that was a transparent thing for you to do. And listen, I'm not going to let all of that lay on you. There's some shit that I did too that probably didn't help this along. I called you my mentee, right? I said I was a mentor to you. I shouldn't have done that. If we friends or we trying to start this friendship, we friends, not a mentor. And Tisha said, thank you for that, because I didn't see you as no damn mentor, period, okay? Nell Fletcher said, now hold your roll. Slow your roll, slow your roll, because I am a certified life coach, because that's something I really, really do. And Tisha said in her confessional, bitch, if she's a certified life coach, then I have a PhD. Are they just giving that shit away now? Okay. But when she was out there sipping on her caramel macchiato, she said, well, maybe I'll send you a text if I have a question about something. To which Nell Fletcher said, bitch, don't send me no bullshit. Okay. Don't text me with no bullshit. I ain't here for it. Okay. But yeah, that was the scene. Okay. And it really did have me thinking, how many times have I told somebody? I used to do it a lot. I ain't gonna lie. It wasn't just one time. But after I had a chance to be married and live a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Like in high school, shit like that. You do dumb stuff. You say stuff when you in your younger years. You think you're telling somebody something that's going to save them something. It doesn't always save them anything. And sometimes you'll find yourself ass out and without a friend. Okay. Now, I have found myself without a friend, and that's why I asked y'all to take that poll at the top. Let me look to see what the poll says, child. Let me get on the horn real quick and see what y'all had to say. Okay. So look, and I know y'all lying, okay? I said, are you still friends with someone you told or who told you that your spouse was cheating? 39%, that's a big number, child. I ain't never seen anything like that before. 39% of y'all said that y'all still down like 4 flat tires. Interesting. 27% of y'all said no, that they kept the spouse and they ended the friendship. And 35% of y'all said that you gave yourself an enema. Now that's probably true. And you wanted to know what happened. So I do believe that the enema part is accurate. Okay. But typically, in relationships where people have, your finances are tied together, there's a whole lot of shit. Ain't nobody leaving that relationship automatically. You stick around. However, your friendship might die because what you can't do, that husband isn't going to want that friend to be around the relationship anymore. There's a whole lot of shit that happens. And that could be your mama. Your mama's all of a sudden not allowed to the house. That could be your best friend, your sister, whomever it is. Okay. It is what it is, though. But I appreciate all of y'all who took the poll and those of y'all who, fudged it, because I know better. Okay. You live life long enough. You know better. But anyway, let's get to this next scene real quick. Please and thank you. This has to do with Kimmy. Oh, is this Kimmy? Yes, Kimmy and Maurice. This was a good scene. This was a good scene. Okay. Look, she said, Diana, I see your point. I'm just saying, nobody leaves a relationship immediately after being told that their husband is cheating. They need proof, or wife. You need proof. What you do is you cut off that friendship that might be, too far in your business. That is true. Okay. Anyway, let's talk about Kimmy and Maurice. They are at the incubator, the new office that they built, and Maurice decides he's going to take a break and go visit his wife, Kimmy, down the hall. While he's there, he tells Kimmy that he's been thinking a lot about Martell, and he thinks that Martell is in a spiral. This is a word that I use very commonly, like often, for people that I've seen that I know have narcissistic behavior. We call it a spiral, and you can see it. It goes up, down, all around, child. It's a hot ass mess. But Kimmy is like, why are you coming in here to talk to me about Martell, kind of thing? And Maurice says, listen, I just want to talk to him. I want to see where he's at because, he's been through a lot. Kimmy says, is this new? Like, you're talking like this is some new shit from Martell. She said, this isn't new. This is typical for Martell. He gets mad. He gets embarrassed. He loses something. And then all of a sudden, he wants to turn the shit around on everybody else. Okay. He's blaming everybody for the destruction that not only he started, he caused the whole fucking thing. And then even though everything is crumbling down around him and all he has to do is stop, he won't. And I can't believe that you're not here yet. Okay. Maurice tells Kimmy to put herself in Martell's shoes. And she said, bitch, no, you didn't. She said, listen, I have put myself in Martell's shoes so many times I can't even count them. That's why I've given him the grace that he's gotten from me to this day. So what are you talking about? I haven't put myself in Martell's shoes. Maurice says, listen, I know the real Martell. There used to be a time when all of the women, there used to be a time when all of the women would say to us, the husbands, I want you to be more like Martell. I want you to be more like Martell. That's how nice of a guy he was. He used to wake us all up in the morning with a prayer. Okay. He was the only one of all the men that was the most helpful to his family, to his wife, to the household, taking care of the kids. We knew we was no fucking good, but Martell was the only one in the friend group that would do all of this shit. Are y'all listening? Are y'all listening? What did I say at the beginning? What did I say last week? Grooms people to think a certain thing about him so that when the bullshit starts happening, when the real him starts showing up, you don't always think about it. Like, maybe this is who this guy is. Maybe this is who he is, right? But Maurice says that. She says, I still think that old Martell is there. Maurice says that Martell can't like the person he's become. And he believes that it is his job to help. Of all the dumb shit to say, I mean, that's how I feel right now. But of all the dumb shit to say, this is what Maurice says to Kimmy. It's my job to help him. Kimmy said, you've done enough already. And I can't even believe that you'd fix your fucking mouth to allow that tongue to rest against your teeth and form those words, child. Absolutely no. She said, at the end of the day, he pretends to listen to you. I've seen it. Oh, thanks, bro. I appreciate the conversation, bro. And then he becomes a bigger tyrant than what he was at the beginning. Why do you keep getting yourself involved in this shit? Kimmy said, I'm going to go even further than that. He doesn't respect you. He doesn't like you. He doesn't respect you. Anything that you have to say to him right now is going to fall on deaf ears, okay? He sees you as an extension of your brother, Marceau, okay? He said, at this point, she said, at this point, you can get it too. And that's simply how he feels about you, because he's seen you defend Marceau. He's seen you cheer for Marceau, and he doesn't like that. He's jealous of Marceau. That's what I've been telling y'all. He is jealous of Marceau because his entire life blew up and he sees Marceau and Tisha still there. But this time, Kimmy brings it home. She says, yes, he doesn't like that about you. He doesn't. He doesn't like that about you. And that's been from the beginning, if you think about it, because he used to say to all of us that y'all didn't deserve a woman who caters to you, that fixes dinner for you, that puts a plate on the table for you. Y'all don't deserve the submissive woman. That's not your bag, okay? And then with everything that he was doing, he still didn't win. He still wasn't able to keep his relationship. And because of it, he wants to see all y'all crumble. He wants to see you suffer. And I have to say, baby, that's accurate. She's not lying. I don't care what Martell says. He is jealous of those relationships. And he did think that Melody was going to stay because he was doing X, Y, and Z. And he felt he was better than them. At the end of the day, for him to have lost it all in the manner in which he lost it all, he ain't going to ever forgive it. Ever. Ever. Okay? Come on in. Welcome to the chat, everybody. I appreciate y'all. Keep hitting my like button, please, and thank you. He's definitely jealous. And we remember the scene last year. I forgot what party it was. I think it was Destiny's, another relaunch for Destiny. But anyway, when he was sitting there with Marceau and Tisha, and Marceau told Tisha, sit your ass right there. He needs to see the two of us together. Let him miss what he misses, okay? And Marceau stood up and put his suit up and said, I'm better than you in every way, okay? And Martell was so heated that he couldn't say shit because he knew the only thing he could say is punch Marceau in his fucking throat. So he left. But the way Martell exited that scene, you knew that shit hit. It punched him. It was a gut punch, period. But anyway, welcome to the chat, everybody. Hit the like button and share the video. Kimmy tells this to Maurice in the scene. Everything that I have been saying, she actually repeats, basically saying that man don't like you. He don't respect you. And for a long time, I thought it was the opposite. I thought it was the other way around. But then I started looking at some of the shit all of them were saying, like, oh, you know, there were certain expectations they kept trying to give Martell. In fact, Destiny said that shit last week. You're better than that. No, he's not. This is as good as it gets, okay? And Kimmy said it. She said, you've seen all sides of Martell. This is it. Stop looking for better. Stop expecting him to do more. It's never going to happen. He doesn't even fuck with you like that. And it's about time you get off the train, okay? And then Kimmy said this. This shook me. She said, bitch, instead of you wasting your time trying to teach Martell how to be a better man, why don't you put that same time and energy into talking to your son, Monster? Because I have been telling you this for a minute. There's clearly something that's going on with Monster. And Kimmy said, I've been telling you this for a minute. Monster's your responsibility. And you should be putting more energy into him. Martell is a 40-something-year-old man that you shouldn't even be thinking about like that. Clock it. Anyway, I thought that was a great scene. I think it may have been the best scene in the episode, but we're going to get to the second best scene a little later. Okay. There's no good sides, right? The thing you have to remember, especially with everything that we know now, is he doesn't do all of that with strangers or people that he's meeting or whatever, unless he's trying to get you to a place where when those bad things happen, he forgets. And it's easy. Or you'll forget that he did the bad shit, right? And it's easy. And that's why I said to y'all, pay attention to the clues. Because even Melody said, I had no idea the type of person that Martell was in regards to the emotional abuse until I left. And that has been recorded. It's forever immortalized. Okay. And she was married to the man. Okay. Come on in. Welcome to the chat. Let's move on to the next, child. Next scene is Tisha and Marcel. Tisha and Marcel are at home. And they have a cute little scene at the beginning. Tisha is doing her daughter's hair, the oldest daughter. I think her name is Macy. Anyway, Macy looks like a prettier version of Marcel. She has everything except her eyebrows. Her eyebrows belong to her mama, but the rest of the face, including her lip, that's Marcel's face, okay? But she's a pretty Marcel. That's the only way to explain it. But she's getting her hair done. Tisha's oiling her hair. That's their business moment, just so you know. Anyway, Tisha says, girl, you need to start marketing and doing some more shit with these hair products. This is your business, right? And she said, you ask for all the money, but you don't do any of the work. Marcel said, well, maybe that's what we should do. Stop giving her money and then let the income from this business be what she has going on. Okay. But Macy said, listen, y'all ain't gonna stop giving me money, so let's cut that out right now. And then Marcel says something like, who's your favorite parent? And she said, it's still mom. Okay. And I think she might have had a confessional or something where she said, listen, there was a time where dad was my favorite parent, but it seems like he's been going down lately. Okay. And he's still going down to the pits of hell. I actually thought that was a cute little scene. Everybody knows when you have that daddy's girl, and then all of a sudden, things change on you a little bit. Marcel said that Macy doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. He's still the favorite. She just likes to act funny every once in a while. But anyway, after that scene goes off, Tisha talks to Marcel about his meeting with Nell Fletcher and how Nell accused her of getting into Chris Fletcher's face. Tisha said, I don't remember it like that. What I do remember is asking about those damn NDAs. Now, when she says this, she also asked Marcel, did I get into Chris Fletcher's face? And Marcel gives her a hearty eye roll, like, bitch, are you out of your mind? Of course you got into Chris Fletcher's face. Excuse me, Chris Fletcher. And then Marcel reminds Tisha, listen, Tisha, you have a bad habit. This is something that he has said since episode 1. You have a bad habit of getting into other men's face like they're your husband. That's where Tisha doesn't have a problem. It doesn't seem like she speaks up in any other given situation, except when it has to do with another man. Okay. Then all of a sudden she wants to bark and bite. That's where she's good at, right? That's Tisha's superpower. Basically, that's what Marceau says. That's Tisha's superpower. Tisha seems shocked for half a second. She actually pretends like she's shocked. Marcel goes, child, what's going on with Ken and Trisha? Have you heard anything else about them? Let's get off this Chris situation. Was Tisha drunk at the party? Child, I think so. Anyway, Tisha said that she don't know anything about Trisha and Ken, but she did meet with her real friends, Destiny and Kimmy. That's what she tells her husband. I did meet up with my real friends. Child, this friendship group, they're a lot of work, but my real friends, Destiny and Kimmy, we had an opportunity to meet up. And, I just really like hanging with them. That's when Marceau tells Tisha, listen, if you got a problem with Nell Fletcher, you better watch yourself with Destiny. You better watch yourself, because a friend of everyone is a friend of no one. This is a second or third time that Marceau has said this on screen about Destiny. He said that shit that she did where she was going after me in order to make Martell look a certain way, I don't appreciate. And Tisha said, you know what, you're right. I didn't think about it like that. He went, yeah, you need to. At the end of the day, Tisha, you need to. And Tisha ends up saying in confessional, I need to limit what I share with Destiny about my relationship, about my marriage and my children, my home period, because I didn't think about that. But yeah, Destiny did fuck that up. And I'm like, oh, so we'll see what happens next. But I'm going to say he ain't lying, because that's why I gave y'all the poll at the beginning. When you're trying to work on a relationship, the person that needs to get the fuck out of that relationship is a friend. Okay. A friend that might know too much, talk too much, because you're trying to get over a hump. A friend is going to remind you of that hump all the time. They're going to mess your relationship up. So you can't be friends with people that, unless you're divorced and that friendship continued. But the facts of the matter is, you're not going to be friends with somebody who brought you a bone and you're trying to work it out with your spouse. It just ain't gonna happen. Come on in. Welcome to the chat. I appreciate y'all. Hit the like button and share the video. Okay. So next up, what did y'all think about that scene? Y'all have anything good to say? Okay, so in the next scene, we got Nell and Chris. They go shopping at the toy store for the grandbabies. Chris said that he saw Lance and he had a chance to speak with him about Destiny. And Nell all of a sudden is saying basically the same shit she said last week. Destiny can go to hell. She said, I don't know why you would encourage your son to have a sit down with Destiny. They weren't exclusive. She claimed he never gave her none. Okay. Or she never gave him none. She said, so at the end of the day, he doesn't owe Destiny shit. He doesn't owe Destiny shit. Nell also said that she met up with Tisha, and Tisha ended up telling her that the rumors are affecting her marriage. And she said nobody's brought her proof. So what is she supposed to do? Chris says, not even that video. And Nell said, no, not even the video. At the end of the day, the people that watched the video, all the fans that watched the video said that the video was bullshit. The lady was from 12 to 15 years ago. Nobody believed it. And they thought that the girl was complete garbage. So they felt like if Martell was going to bring somebody that was cheating, that he would have brought someone that was a little sooner than 12 years ago. That's how it ended, okay? Nell Fletcher said that she's going to give Tisha grace, and she's not counseling any damn body. So we shall see what happens next with that. Come on in. Welcome to the chat. How do y'all feel about Melody saying that Martell was pretty much everything was good in her marriage until she divorced him? How do y'all feel about that? Do y'all think that she just didn't know, or she wasn't aware, or that she didn't really get to see it until she was out of the marriage? So then we have Maurice and Martell. They meet for dinner to discuss the interview. And Martell said that he's been waiting on this meeting since the day he dropped the interview. He said, at the end of the day, let's fucking go. I knew that Maurice was going to be the one to give me a call. So let's go. I've been waiting for this. Okay. Martell has a little bit of light conversation telling Maurice that he's ready to get back into a relationship a little more seriously, even though since Martell and Melody divorced, Martell's been saying he's ready to get married again. From the day they got divorced, he's been saying, I'm ready to get married again. He's been manifesting and setting dates when the marriage was going to happen, all kinds of shit. But here, when he says he's ready to get into a serious relationship, Maurice says, oh, like marriage? And Martell said, hold your damn horses. No, not right now, not marriage, just dating. Child, that was the hottest mess I've ever seen. What's up, Gloria? Welcome to the chat. I was like, oh my God. So he's gone from I'm ready to get married next year to not getting married at all. Because this is the energy it's giving. Okay. But anyway, Maurice tells Martell that he has played the villain so damn long that he's become the villain and that he's concerned about him. Okay. He said, I don't get it. Martell said, I didn't start this. And I want y'all to pay attention to the way he words it. He said, I didn't start this. I wasn't talking about Tisha. I wasn't talking about Marceau. But they kept coming for me. I've done nothing to them, but they kept coming for me. Again, revisionist history, because he did come for them. He started it first. He mentioned it first. Whatever the pact was off the table when he started talking about the pact. He started talking about his relationship with Ariane on screen. But he dragged Marceau in it when he said it's not like Marceau and Maurice, really, when he said it's not like y'all didn't have 20 women. And no one's bringing this up, but Martell brought that shit up. He brought it up first. Okay. Anyway, Maurice is just sitting there listening. I'm not sure why he doesn't say something along the lines of, isn't this how it happens? But he doesn't. Martell says, I wouldn't have put that video out there about Marceau if he would have just called me and apologized like I trained him to do. I have groomed y'all so that if anything happens where I make a mistake, you're supposed to come to me and beg me for my forgiveness, because that's how these relationships work. If you've ever been in one, I don't give a hell if it's a friendship or he was your boss or what it is. It's the same with everybody. Your mama, your child, if you got one, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They expect you to grovel and say that you apologize to them. And that's what he says to Maurice. Honestly, I didn't want to put that video out there, but he didn't call me like he was supposed to. I expected it. I had my damn phone wherever I went, okay? Anytime it rang, I thought it was him, but it wasn't. And I couldn't take that. So I put the video out. Now, Maurice should have been like, bruh, like, you know what I'm saying? If you're going to come near to take up for your brother, I would expect you to do a little more swinging, but he doesn't. What he actually says is Marceau wasn't the only one hit. Marceau wasn't the only one hit, is how he puts it. And then Martell apologizes. He said, I apologize that you catch that stray, bro. But he said, I feel that you should have stopped your brother and your sister-in-law. I feel that you should have went to them and told them to contact me. You should have told them that you've done too much to Martell. Did y'all hear any of that? Did y'all hear that? I don't know if you heard it. I want to make sure that you heard it. He's saying to him, I did these things because of what y'all did to me. And you should have done more to get Tisha and Marceau to apologize and back down. Because you've called me in the past and you didn't do that with them. That was the craziest shit I've ever heard. That was the craziest shit I've ever heard. But it continues. Martell says, at the end of the day, you know what really took me over the mountain? You know what really took me over the mountain, Maurice? Is when we were in LA at the reunion. And Carlos had asked me a question about the case with Melody, the harassing case, right? And I couldn't think of the terminology where I was trying to explain why I had a guilty plea. And I looked down at you, expecting you to help me because you're a lawyer. You should know. And you turned away from me. And that's when I was like, that bitch can get it too. Okay? That's when I said you could get it too. And Maurice said, are you serious? He said, are you serious? He said, Martell, this case isn't you against all of us on the stage. This case is you against the state of Alabama. What did your lawyer advise you? And Martell sits back and goes, he told me to shut the fuck up. He went, exactly. Was your lawyer okay with you saying all that shit on stage? They'll use anything against you. And Martell said, oh, okay. He did not care. He did not care. And this is what I meant when I say, if you're friends with somebody like this, you have no idea what their bottom is because they have no bottom. Friends, marriage, mama, kids, it doesn't matter. Everybody's going to get their turn at getting their head knocked off of their shoulders because that's how the relationship works. He grooms you to protect him. He doesn't protect you. He doesn't protect you. That's it. And you could be in it for 20 years, 100 years, 10 years, all the things. He doesn't protect you. Anyway, Maurice tries to introduce his car wreck scene here where he lets everybody know, let me just tell you, you know, I never said anything about my case, but do you want to know what really happened that night that I got into the car accident? Martell says, shoot, what happened? Maurice says, me and Kimmy left the bar together. She drove me back to the office where I got in my car. Kimmy drives off. I'm right behind her. Then I decide to stop and talk to Cedric and I guess his other brother, which is the exact same story that Kimmy tells on Carlos King's podcast, told the exact same story. And then he said, I'm 30 minutes from home and I almost hit an animal. Now, he didn't say what the animal was, a deer, a dog, a cat. I almost hit an animal. And then I swerved to hit the animal and I end up hitting a tree and a pole. I don't know where the brake comes in because typically when you swerve, you still hit the fucking brake. But he hits a tree and a pole. Martell falls out laughing. I mean, he's crying. He's laughing so hard. And Maurice is looking crazy. Like, he's just like, I can't believe that Martell would laugh at me. He's not giving him any attention whatsoever. Anyway, Martell says, man, you sound like my 9-year-old. Okay? You sound like my 9-year-old. Were you drunk? I'm not giving you, look, whether he was laughing or not, he said, were you fucking drunk? Because there's that sound, that entire story sounds unbelievable. In confessional, Martell said, I can't believe he didn't laugh at himself because there's no way that's a real story. And the fact that he's telling me this with a straight face tells me everything I need to know. Okay? After that, Maurice says, the case was dismissed because I wasn't guilty. The evidence aligned with the animal, the tree, and the pole. So I wasn't guilty. Martell gave him nothing. Nothing. He simply laughed at him. That was it. Anyway, Martell said, I don't know what you want from me, but I'm not protecting people's feelings anymore or dealing with people who lie intentionally. Period. You ain't gonna keep my name in your mouth lying about me. You say something about me, Tisha or Marceau, they seem like he's putting them the biggest grievance on them. Tisha or Marceau, if they lie on me, I'm going to come back for them. Period. Martell said that the lady in that video wasn't lying. I don't know what you want me to say. That's her truth. She wasn't lying. Maurice says, "Are you sure, Martell? Were you there? What were you in the room? Because you said you were gambling. So you made two different distinctions. You said you were gambling, and then you said you were there." Martell says, "Yeah, I was there. You went first. You took your turn first, and then after you hopped off, your brother took a turn. After your brother hopped off, she wanted me, but I wasn't fucking with that." Hold on, y'all. Come on in, everybody. Welcome. 626 of y'all are here. Please hit that like button, please, and thank you. So Martell says in this scene, I watched Maurice sleep with her, only not sleep. I watched Marceau sleep with her, only not sleep. And when she was done with the two of y'all, she wanted me to go next. Do y'all think that's true? Put it in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you think that's true. Put a 3 in the chat if you think that's a lie. I'm asking. Ooh. See, you know how easy that is? So you think that when Martell was a married man, with a wife and children, because they would have all had children at that time, that he sat in a room and watched them go behind each other, and that he was asked to go next, that she asked him to go next, and he said no. And then after that, they all went to the Piggly Wiggly or to the 7-Eleven. That's what you're saying. Ugh. Anyway, I think that there is some parts that's true. I think that Marceau may have had an affair. I don't think all of that is true. But I do think that because Martell, and I already said that's his superpower, whether you like it or not, Martell has a superpower where he can convince people into believing certain things about other people or himself. It is what it is. Everybody's a victim, including the audience at this point. Everybody's a victim, including the audience. Melody had been a victim for many, many years, and everybody that's a part of that friendship is a victim. And some of this audience is a victim as well, because sometimes shit is so unreal that you have to ask yourself, what, instead of Maurice saying, bitch, listen, why would you be in a room? Because there was a way for him to handle that. Maurice could have said, why would you be in a room where all that was taking place, right? He could have. He could have. But he didn't. He didn't do that. What he did was he tried to put his horrible fucking legal eagle beagle skills to play. What color was the room? What color was the carpet? Give me the distinctive feature about my penis, okay? And Martell laughed the shit off. Like, man, are you on a gummy right now? Did you just have a fucking gummy? Stop playing with me, bro. You know what I'm telling you is facts. And he was staring him down like, bitch, we can play this game. All I can say is by the time it was done, I knew that Martell was lying, but I also knew that Maurice was lying. They both were lying in that scene. Did some shit go down? For sure, but maybe not exactly like that is what I think. I think that Martell basically was saying, if you want me to tell the real story, bitch, because I can, if you want me to play this game, but what you're not going to do is lie and tell me it never happened. Because by the time Marceau, everybody's names start with an M. My apologies. By the time Martell gets to the end of the scene, Martell trips Maurice up. Martell said, "Are you saying that Marceau didn't fly that girl out?" And instead of Maurice saying, "Hell no, he didn't fly a girl out," he says, "I don't know what Marceau did. You just threw your brother under the fucking bus with that statement alone. And when he watches this back, he needs to add you to the same list he put Destiny on." Okay? Because neither one of them knew how to handle their shit at that point. You let Martell play you and the other one. Okay? So when he said that, I went, well, then it's true. Because the last thing you would do is admit to that girl being there. You said, you said, Maurice, "I don't know what Marceau did." If the three of y'all went, then when Martell says, "When the four of us went shopping," you would say there wasn't four of us. There was three of us. He tripped your ass up every step of the way. Every step of the way. Period. Okay? It was bad. I thought the scene was bad, but it was the second best scene in that episode. I thought the scene was bad, but Maurice got so tripped up thinking that if he just stared in his eyes like this, that Martell would just, play whatever game he wanted him to play, and he didn't do it. But Martell definitely lied about some stuff in that scene, for sure. For sure. But did y'all bring that girl there? You did. Okay? Because what Martell says in the interview is that he ended up getting his own room or some shit. I would think that you would play that, you would just say it like, after I saw how nasty y'all motherfuckers was, I got my own room, okay? But he didn't. He played it to the point of where he allowed Maurice to trip himself up. And he did. And when Kimmy sees this scene, Maurice, it is your ass, okay? Kimmy and Tisha, that was not a good scene for either one of y'all. Come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. 700 of y'all are here. When you play P, you get F'd. Anyway, just so y'all know, the other part that Martell said that was interesting, because he wanted Maurice to get tripped up, when Maurice said, "It's not true," Martell leaned in and said, "What part isn't true? What part isn't true?" Okay? And he said, "I'm not going to let you play in my face and tell me something that I know is a fact isn't a fact." And that was it. That was curtains. That was curtains for Maurice. And I don't know how he thought that shit played out in his head during the scene, because when he watches it, I am sure on Saturday night, both of them houses was a rocking, okay? And not because they was doing something, you know what I'm saying? It was because Tisha and Kimmy probably went upside the head with Marceau and Maurice, because Maurice did a lousy job of protecting his brother in that scene. But I don't think he thought so, okay? Because the next scene we have Kimmy and Maurice. They decide to meet for lunch. And when they meet up for lunch, they ask for Marceau to come out so they can catch him up on what happened. Oh, shit. My bad. Beep, 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 beep. Take this back. I forgot to tell y'all why y'all was here in the first place. Okay? When Martell said, "Which part isn't true?" And then he said, "Maurice, are you an attorney? Are you an attorney?" He said, "Yeah, I'm an attorney." He said, "Then sue me. Fucking sue me. Okay? Sue us. Sue us. Because I'm not taking one word of it back." That is the part that was mind-blowing. But I still think that part of it is true, part of it is a lie. I think you're too grown to be in rooms with grown-ass men having, relations. I don't think that he would have done that part. But I think that he said I was in the room just to make sure that Maurice and Marceau knows. Bitch, I was there. You know what I'm saying? You want to act like I wasn't there? I was there. And he said this already to Tisha first season on the reunion stage when she said, how would you know he was having an affair? Were you there? And what did he say? He said, yes, I was there. That's when Tisha started crying. That's first season reunion. Okay? Yes, I was there. Period. Period. Anyway, there's more women that's come out and said they've slept with Martell than there are any women that have come out and said they've slept with Marceau and Maurice. Not to say that they haven't. It's just that for whatever reason, after the Ariane shit came out, there was even more women to come out and try to get on that bandwagon. I don't know why. I don't think it had to do with an NDA though, period. But I do know that Martell is the one who started the whole drama with them cheating. He is the one who started that shit. Okay? So anyway, Maurice decides that he is going to meet up with his brother. He wants to meet up with his brother and talk to him about what him and Martell talked about. And Kimmy is there. And Maurice decides when Marceau gets there, they say hey to each other. Just by the way, those NDAs expired, child. There's only I think, what is it, 9 or 10 years? That lady, that's an expired NDA. So if there's more should have come out. But Maurice tells his brother that he is genuinely concerned about Martell's health. About his mental health. I'm genuinely concerned about Martell's mental health. And that is when Marceau says, fuck Martell's mental health. I don't care about Martell's mental health. And I don't even know why you would bring this shit to me. Maurice nods his head and says, I understand. Like, I don't even know how to bring this to you, but I understand that you don't, right? Then Maurice says to Marceau, Martell said he put me in the video because of what happened on the stage in LA. And then he tells him about the whole him getting tripped up with the legal terminology. And Marceau looks at his brother like he has 5 eyes. And he goes, he said that to you? And Maurice says, yeah. And he just shook his head like, that makes no fucking sense. Like, and it makes no sense that you're even saying now that you're concerned about his health when he could have ruined your relationship. That's what's spinning in Marceau's head. And he's kind of looking at Kimmy to see her temperature, right? He's looking at Kimmy like, are you listening to this shit? And Kimmy's sitting there smiling. Okay, she's not doing a whole lot. Then Maurice says, well, at the end of the day, I started sweeping Martell's legs because I started asking him lawyer questions, which, by the way, like I said, when they go back and look at this shit, they're going to say, you didn't, child, go back to school. Okay. You didn't trip that motherfucker up on nothing. You didn't trip him up. But he said, I started asking him lawyer questions. What color was the room? And then get this. I asked him, tell me what's different about my dick. Okay, so now he wants them to think that he was being a tough guy. Kimmy's on the side like, there is something different, okay? And Marceau kind of laughs because he thinks, well, it's good to think that you might have tripped him up. Didn't happen. Long story short, Marceau ends up telling him, I don't care about Martell's health, his mental health, his physical health. I don't give 2 shits about who Martell was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 100 years ago. That's not my concern. I'm not trying to bring him back to his old self because I don't believe that there is an old Martell that's still, lingering out there. I believe that the Martell you see is a full fucking package. He has moments where he seems like he's an amazing guy. And then he has moments where he is the devil reincarnated. And I'm not along for that ride. I don't care. It is not up to me to save him. And I can't believe that this is where you're putting yourself right now. In confessional, he says, I think, in confessional, Marceau says, I think that both Kimmy and Maurice are fucking crazy when it comes to Martell. Because Kimmy said, he used to be a good guy. We used to have this conversation about him being a good guy. And now I don't think he's a good guy anymore. But he says, Marceau says, I think Kimmy is more in her right mind than my brother. He's fucked up right now. And there's a whole lot that we could do. Okay? And I'm not going to do it. That's when Maurice says, well, I'm having an outing where I've invited all the guys and I've invited Martell. Are you going to be there? Do you want to go? Marceau says, yeah, I'm coming. Look, unlike Tisha, I'm not running away from that motherfucker. He's not going to make me put my tail between my legs and act like I'm ashamed or afraid. I will be wherever I'm supposed to be to collect these checks. But what I'm not going to do is have any type of intervention where I am showing concern or worry for Martell. Those days are over. I've ran enough interference for them where it will never happen again. We are both going to have our own accountability. I'm firm in where I stand with Martell. I'm not apologizing for shit. I'm not doing any of that. And he's not going to do any of it. So you figure out a way to be okay with that. But in regards to me trying to make Martell better, those days are over with. And I have to say, I thought that was excellent. I totally understood where Marceau was coming from in that scene, because I've had an experience where I had a friendship with a couple, and the husband was a raging narcissist, and they will play you to run interference for them all the time. But the truth of the matter is, it sounds like all of them ran interference for Martell in his marriage with Melody, but they don't say that he ran interference for them. Melody says it. I think she said sometimes when she had called Nell Fletcher about Martell or something like that. And Melody says, you would call me about shit that Chris was doing. We never heard them say the same about the Scotts. Let's put that out there. And then also Martell last year said, if Tisha wasn't telling Melody to leave me, that he believed that Tisha was telling Melody to leave him, basically, which is why he's working so hard to break up Tisha and Marceau. Excuse me, y'all. I know I've messed some names up a couple of times, but it is what it is. I'm going to listen to what you guys have to say, because I saw all them comments coming up and I could barely catch on, child. But y'all tell me what it is that y'all would like to talk about. If there's something that I missed, I don't really actually care. You see the X comments. What X comments? Did I see Maurice post his pics of the accident? I will say that I don't know. I know what Maurice said, and most people think it's a lie. And shit, Martell definitely thought it was a lie. You wrecked that car. Did you hit the animal? When Martell said, did you hit the animal? He said no. And then Martell got out of his seat to laugh. That's all I need to know. We have seen a whole lot of different sides of Martell on this show. A lot of different sides. He started off being soft-spoken, and you saw him with the kids and the praying and all that shit. They ain't lying. That shit did happen. And all of us were thinking that they had this great relationship that, you know, the Scotts broke up. But once Martell said at the end of last season that he was the ringleader, that he was the reason why everybody was cheating, shit, what am I supposed to do? I believe you. Okay. I appreciate that, child. Cassie said, you ain't never lied, sis. Okay. He didn't deny knowing him. They both were lying. They both were lying. I want to put that out there. But Martell wasn't given 100% truth. But Martell, this is a point I'm making. Martell went through that whole entire energy, all that scene was amazing because that was Martell in action. That was him. That was him delivering his superpower to the screen. And what we've heard in the past, if we keep up with the show, is Melody saying, I stuck around for as long as I did because Martell has a way of saying shit to you that makes you believe him. He is very convincing. And even last season, she said it again, like, bitch, I almost got hemmed up. I almost forgot how convincing Martell is. You're right. My bad. Let me pull back. And then Marceau saying, yeah, he performs. He will cry. He will boo. He will do all the things. And he's not lying. There's a lot that goes into it. And people get mad at everybody for believing him. But that's that man's superpower. He makes a lot of people believe him. He does. He lost. He 1000% lost that scene. Lost. He thought he had it. And I promise you, I bet you he played that shit back in his head when he was leaving that scene like, I got him. You know what I'm saying? Like he probably thought he had the best of Martell. He did not. You are no match. You were no match for Martell. Not at all. Listen, the other thing, a lot of people call Martell dumb, but did y'all see how quick Martell was? Even when he was being super giddy and laughing, when he had that one-on-one with Maurice, and he was like, bitch, are you high now? Did you eat a gummy? Did you take a gummy? Are you on a gummy right now? I was like, oh, he's not playing. Come on. Let me see what y'all got to say. When Martell said, sue me if you think I'm lying. Sue me if I'm lying. Maurice didn't say nothing. Maurice grabbed them glasses like, oh shit. Let me put my Maurice grabbed them glasses like he was trying to really work it out in his head. That was the funniest scene ever. That was the funniest scene ever. Oh my goodness, that shit was hilarious. Maurice knew he got okay. I was like, baby, no, that's hilarious. The same mental health concerns were there when they knew Martell was cheating on his wife. Well, if they were all cheating, what mental health concerns would there be? They were all cheating, in my opinion, and allegedly. Okay, let me put this up. Allegedly and in my opinion. That's why I said there's some things that he was telling the truth about, but there's some things that were a flat out lie. And it does not matter because, again, that's his superpower. That's what he knows how to do. And when y'all start going back, if you were to ever go back and start looking at some of that stuff, there were so many people, not just the Scotts, that was going to bat for Martell. Martell grooms protectors. He grooms them. He makes you protect him. And when you don't, that's the problem. Martell is extremely cunning, but also Satan. Okay. Marceau knew this when he filed the first restraining order on him and changed his mind for many seasons until last season. Marceau actually says in that season, he said, you lie on me once, I'm done. Marceau knew then, I'm never going to trust a word Martell says. And he said it repeatedly every single season. He's been the most consistent. I will never believe what Martell says. After he did that shit, I'm done with him. But what he has done is try to offer counsel sometimes to Martell. He has done that. It was a laughing for you. The publicist said when that shit was funny. But just so y'all know what you're working with, everybody keeps saying Martell is dumb. When I said Martell is not that dumb when it comes to some of this shit, this requires a skill. He has one. He has a skill set. Let's face it. He does. And not everybody can handle it. Not everybody can handle it, okay? And The words that I always remember is Melody saying, I thought I had the perfect relationship until I was out of that relationship and I had a chance to sit with myself and realized how crazy that was. And she lived with him every day. She lived with him. She had babies by him, and she didn't even know. That scene was classic. MLK Jr. was not prepared. Absolutely not. But think about it. Kimmy wasn't lying. The scene that I said was the best scene, that scene with Kimmy and Maurice, where Kimmy says to her husband, he never liked you. He don't have any respect for you. He doesn't. How do you expect to talk to him or counsel him when he doesn't respect you? You're an extension of a brother that he is in competition with. He was supposed to have Hope Manor. Marceau has Scott Manor. He was supposed to have his wife and kids. He don't. Marceau has his wife and kids still. All of those things is a problem. He watches you defend Marceau. He watches you cheer for Marceau. You think that he likes you? He does not. Put your time and energy into raising the child you have and not the 40-year-old man that's not your friend. That was a real conversation. I was like, bitch, Kimmy is coming up with some jewels this season, okay? Who in their right mind would take a broke man to court with 5 kids? All right. Look, Mocha Princess said, listen, most men would say, I didn't F that bit and be ready to fight you if you said it again. Maurice didn't do none of that. Maurice honestly thought that he could hypnotize Marcy. Listen, I don't know if these people deal in the, the occult, the dark side of things, but Maurice honestly thought that he could just look Martell in the eye and get him to say a certain thing, and it didn't happen like that. Welcome to the chat, everybody. I hope y'all had an opportunity to hear it. If y'all ever want to know what a narcissist that is as skilled as Martell is, how that happens, what happens when you're in it, this is it. RMP said that Martell was extremely childish in that scene. The only divorced man is Martell Holt. And then imagine, this is the other part that I thought was interesting. When Kimmy was like, Martell used to tell y'all that you didn't deserve your relationship. You didn't deserve your wives. He was basically rooting for your failure. He didn't like that we would cater to you, that I guess they have these submissive relationships. I think they were everybody on that show was submissive to their men in those relationships. Only one divorced man. That's true. That's true. I agree. But we're going to see, because I kept saying, I can't wait to see what happens next. When Melody was going through her shit with Martell, the friendships with the Scotts ended. You can't keep those friendships. You can't. It doesn't happen if you're serious about, moving forward with your marriage. So we shall see. Marty is crafty. Martell forgot what he said when he was at that adult film day, or that adult game day that Destiny set up. I remember what he said. The fact that he came into that scene and pretended like who cares what I said? Marceau owed me an apology. He didn't give it. I expected one, or I wouldn't have put it out. And then when you didn't do what you were supposed to do in keeping Marceau together, you should have told him and Tisha to apologize to me. Apologize to me and make it right. This is the same man who sat on that reunion stage, I believe reunion 5, and said, I told y'all I would never tell, and I won't. I told y'all I would never tell, and I won't. That was also the season where they all admitted, every single body on that stage admitted that there was a pact. There was a pact not to discuss Martell cheating. A pact is an agreement between all parties. All parties have to benefit. Once Martell's agreement was off the table, once he broke his own pact, he broke it for them too. He said, what's good for me is good for you, bitch. It is what it is. You're here because of me. So you should be kissing my ass. A narcissist is Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Now he can no longer hide who he really is. Martell is not believable to me. Okay. That is from RMP. And I understand why you say that, RMP, because we watch these scenes, you know, they're coming to us back to back. That's not how it happens in an actual relationship. You do something crazy, and then there's so much, you know, goodwill, or you've put in so much investment in that relationship where amazing things happen, that one crazy moment you write off. And then the second one, you write off. Then you get to the 100th one and you're like, bitch, is this real? I'm gonna write it off. Sometimes you just get too much, you get too far involved. But it doesn't just happen the way we see it on the show. There's a buildup of things. All of these friendships have been around for a minute. And I remember Kimmy saying something like, I remember I was putting groceries into my house, and wherever they lived, it was like a 2-lane highway. And Martell had drove past, blew the horn, then spun around and came to her house. He was going the opposite way, spun around, came to her house, and started taking groceries out the car and helping her get her groceries. And she said, that's just who he is. Those moments for him, even though it is a nice thing to do, I'm not going to pretend like it's not a nice thing to do, but for all the crazy shit that we see him do, those are the things that people think about. And that's done on purpose. You hold on to those moments so that you forget the crazy shit. Like, those two people can't live in the same body. They live in his body. That is who he is. And Marceau figured it out and said, you got to take it as the whole. That's who he is. That's the whole person. Thank you guys for coming in and listening to me, listening to the show. I appreciate y'all. Hit the like button and share the video. I'm trying to see if there's anybody who's ever had a friendship or a relationship with someone who had those kind of extreme personalities. Someone who could be so amazing, pray for you, pray for your children, do all of these, like go out of their way to do these really incredible things that most people don't do. Most people don't do them. He would do them. And then the next day he's someone else. How have you never had that experience? Hey, what's up? Come on in. I see you. Candlelit 2211. Let's see. What if Martell do know someone less than 12 years ago, but she or he don't want to come forward? Then leave their marriage alone. If you know someone from 12 years ago and they don't want to come forward, leave their marriage alone. He got caught, so everybody else got to die. That's crazy. He could have stopped sleeping with that girl at any given time. He was given chance after chance. He was even brought to a whole TV show where he talked about it, and he still fucked up. By the time we get to the second half of the season, Melody got her ring light stand and put her camera in it, stood behind her counter and said, I heard you got a baby on the way. Okay. He didn't have to have that baby. He didn't have to do that. He knew what was happening with that girl. It's nobody's fault. It's not the Scott's fault that he messed his marriage up, and it's not his job to mess the Scott's marriage up. It's not his job. If nobody wants to come out and say, hey, I was one of the ladies, oh well, that just means that Martell was unlucky. Let's think about this. Martell, with everything that he had, he was sitting on top of the world. Beautiful wife, beautiful kids. Everybody that he saw, according to them, told them how amazing, what a beautiful family they were. They wanted to work with them, put them on. He had a multi-million-dollar contract, housing development deal, Holt Manor, lost everything, everything. And even now, I mean, I know a lot of people put all kinds of crazy stuff out there because I had to stop listening after a while. But even now, that man, he's not where he used to be. And he's watching people that he thought were under him blow up. He's watching people that he thought was under him blow up. That's a crazy place to be. And if you don't think that shit is recycling in his head every 5 seconds, and his reason for trying to mess with their shit is, well, you did this to me. They never did that to you. You started it. You started it at the adult day, whatever that shit was, game day. You started it in season 1. You started it. They didn't start that. They didn't. He just wanted company. He wanted company, or there was a game plan that didn't get executed the way he saw it happening. There was either a plan in place that was set up, do this, and this, including feeding the bloggers all these information about the Scotts that nothing has panned out for. Whatever it was, he's been doing it, and it has never played in his favor. It has only backfired, and nobody has figured out how to stop the shit. Kimmy wasn't lying when she said, he gets himself into these situations where if he would just fucking stop and take a breath and let things, relax, he might survive it. But he keeps hitting the wall and then deciding to blow up the building. And then when he blows up the building, he blows up the block. And when he blows up the block, he blows up the city. He doesn't know how to stop. That's my opinion. Okay, that's my opinion. That's where I am with it. I actually thought that this was a decent episode. I enjoyed it. I gave it a solid 10. I think that I can't wait to see what's going to come up with Kimmy and Maurice, because Maurice clearly lied in that scene with Martell. He lied, period. Okay, and whatever's going to happen next, we shall see. Kimmy was definitely dating Maurice then. Maurice came near hoping that Martell would give him a solid and exclude him from that conversation. He did not. He did not. And Kimmy's in a place where she's like, I told you what you should be doing with your son because he needs extra attention and you're giving it to a grown man. And even though she said it in a nice way, she still said it. And he sat there looking crazy. Let me see. Do you remember the car wash scene? Martell was upset that the guys asked him about getting caught cheating and having 2 phones. So let me tell you how the scene happened. Martell tells the guys, I have 2, Melody caught me with 2 phones. Martell says it. They didn't ask him about the 2 phones. Martell came with them nasty, stinking ass flip-flops when they were washing those cars. And he said, oh, Melody caught me with 2 phones. And they go, excuse me? What? Tell me you're lying. Okay. And then they start making a joke out of it. And that's when he got pissed, because he said, why would you make a joke like that? Why would you make a joke out of it? But Martell brought that to them. They didn't bring it to Martell. That was a setup scene. That was more diabolical behavior, because they looked at each other like, why would you bring this to us? We're not supposed to talk about it. We're not supposed to talk about it. Now that you know the truth, now that you know there was a pact, you got to actually start telling the story the right way. You can't, he brought them that story. He brought it to them more than once. Mm-hmm. Maurice, let's not forget that Maurice had snuck Martell before. He sure did. He wanted to get the opportunity. This is what y'all should know. Martell wanted an opportunity to bring the Scotts cheating to the show, and that's how he did it. He went to them with the phones. If you go back, you will see it. And then when they're like, why would you do that? Marceau in particular, didn't Melody tell you to get rid of the phone? Yeah, she told me, but blah, 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 blah. He went, well, it seems to me that you would have gotten rid of the phone. Marcel was trying to be the voice of reason. When they get to the house, and I don't even remember what happened, but Martell starts chasing Marceau around the countertop. Marcel's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you told us not to have this conversation. And really, that's how it plays out throughout season after season. That's the truth. Now, again, could they have all cheated together? Sure. But Martell brought that shit to the show. He brought his story and their story. So when we're all looking at it like, you guys are using the Scotts for a storyline, he introduced it. He introduced the Scotts bullshit to the show, meaning he was using it to buffer his own storyline. Okay? Oh, Lord. Hey, Candy. Hold on. Thank you for blessing the channel, child. I appreciate you. Let me give you a little thank you for rocking with DYANAROZAY. Candy But Sweet said, Diana, what are your thoughts on Kimmy now thinking Martell is not such a good guy anymore? She was so blind to what Mel was going through. I think her and Mel were the same. That's what I said at the beginning. What I'm saying to y'all is when someone invests in you, when they try to get you to think about them a certain way, it's hard not to think about them that way. If you know your children, right? Let's use a kid for an example. If someone told you that your child, think of something horrible, I don't know, broke into a house, maybe like, a 13-year-old broke into a house and spray painted everything or whatever. Your idea of your kid is that you love that kid and you know everything amazing and great about him, right? You know all these things. And even though the person who said, I caught your child red-handed doing X, Y, and Z, that doesn't mean that you're going to say, my child's a mother bastard, blah, blah, blah. You're not going to talk bad about him. You're going to think he had a bad moment, but he's still a good guy. He's still a good child. And you're going to have that thought with whoever comes to you with that fucking story, because that's yours. That's your child. In that same vein, Martell invests a lot into his friendships, whether it's helping them financially, like Maurice was saying, he prayed for me. Maurice was saying he would pray for us, he would pray for the group. The same thing applies. He puts that type of energy into things so that he can get a certain response back. He knows his handicap. He did it with his wife. He did it with his friends. He does it with his children. He does it with everybody. He does it with his mother. He does it with everybody. We just look at the bad side because that's what we've been fed. So we don't get to see all the other stuff. We don't see all the other stuff. We saw a little bit of it when they first came on. We all were like, oh, y'all are a beautiful couple. We all thought it. And for a long time, even though people won't admit it, for a long time, people begged for them to get back together. People would be like, oh my God, stop them on the street. Melody had to do a whole scene where she was like, I'm tired of people asking us to get back together. It's never going to happen. Martell talked about it. Carlos King talked about it. It was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. And it went on for years, not just a season, years. But there were certain things that happened. I encourage y'all to either listen to my old reviews, because I said this from the beginning. The couple of things I said was that there was always a secret on this show that people weren't telling. There was always something horrible, or something that they couldn't say because they were all involved. That was the first one. And I always said that everybody wanted them to get back together because they all thought he was a good guy. They all thought that he was a good guy that was turned bad by the Scotts. He wasn't turned bad. He was who he is. He is who he is. He wasn't turned bad. And now we have this scene that's coming up where Ken's friend, Will, is going to say that he had some sort of relationship, I guess, with Ariane Curry. He's going to tell that story. We shall see. She said, maybe I missed it, but when did Martell jump out the window? I'm baffled how he destroyed his family. Oh, just hit the Google or your GP chat. That'll tell you. GPT chat, it'll tell you. Chat GPT. But yeah, that's where this is, okay? Because listen, this is the other thing. They were trying to mend their, I don't know, situationships at some point. They were trying to mend it. Melody even did a TikTok where she said, listen, I don't hang out with these people ever. We don't hang out at each other's house. We show up on set, we film, we go home. But people were so mad at how the story started that they didn't get to see, they didn't put the pieces together when the story started changing. And it really made for bad blood between everybody. It really made for bad blood for everybody because people were expecting Melody to help them get that story straight, and it didn't happen. It didn't happen. And I'm not even going to say she didn't try, because I did see her try. I really did. And I would tell it from my platform and say, listen, she's saying that didn't happen that way. But after a while, child, I think there was a plan in place, and it went off the rails. It happened the way it happened. When Martell says, sue me, bitch, aren't you a lawyer? Yep. Yes, child. But that's the good tea for the episode. I enjoyed it. I know y'all gonna be mad, but right now, episode 6 is what we just watched. All 6 episodes together have been way better than the entire season of RHOA. Sweet 16, the entire season, it did not do as good as Love and Marriage Huntsville is doing right now. I think they're doing more to expose the true nature of the relationship and why things happen. And even though I get it, people are upset, you have to think back to how this happened, and it will play out in a way that even if Melody, because she's still healing for sure, 1000%, she's still healing, but she did try to say a couple of things that was putting these pieces together. In fact, she said a lot of shit that put these pieces together. Thank you. I said it. I said it was always competition and nobody would listen to me. No, they're jealous. I thought that, but Martell's jealous of Marceau. He's jealous. He's jealous of him. Yeah, I'm happy that Melody is, thank you, baby. Hey, friend, much love to you, boo. Thank you, giving you the real tea. You know I watch you every day, child. You're my friend in my head. I think you are an amazing content creator. You're the king. You're the king of the sector. But yes, yeah. Anyway, that's it. That's all. I appreciate every single one of y'all for coming through and hanging out. Okay, go back, watch this again, watch my old episodes. We got to self-correct as bloggers. When new information comes in, we got to get that line straight. Okay, can't be about your favorite. It got to be about what's real, because that's how people get the true story. But yes, this entire season so far has been better than the entire 18 episodes of RHOA. I'm standing on it, okay? I appreciate every single one of y'all, okay, for rocking with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hit the like button, share the video on your way out, okay? Follow me on all my platforms at DYANAROZAY. Thank you to my moderators, Miss Tina and Clone in the house. I appreciate y'all. Until the next time, bye-bye.